Hello kids, how are you all? Hope you are doing well. We were studying the chapter How Do Organisms Reproduce, class 10th biology. And our today's topic is sexual reproduction. So basically what is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction, as we have said, in a sexual reproduction only one parent is involved. In sexual reproduction two parents or two individuals are involved belonging to two different sexes. One is male and another is female. So here, both these male and female organisms produce gametes. The male organism forms male gamete that is known as sperm, and the female produces female gametes that is known as ova or ovum. Okay, and the union of male and female gametes result in formation of zygote. Okay, and this zygote further develops, okay, and grows into a new individual. So gametes are formed in sex organs. It involves, you can say, a reductional or meiotic division, or we can say meiosis. In this, chromosomes numbers get half from the parents. So half comes from female sides and half comes from male sides. And when they both fuses, it forms a diploid zygote after fertilization. That is, you can say, take a 2n, or you can say diploid. Here the chromosomes numbers are same as parents now. Okay, but these chromosomes are coming from male as well as female, so that produces variation. Okay, that's why the individual is slightly different from both the parents. Okay, in animal we can say it is a biparental, two parents are involved, one is male and female, but in plants it may be biparental or uniparental, because here both the sexes might be present in the same flower, that is known as bisexual flower, or you can say it could be in different plants. It could be in different plants of different flowers, that is unisexual flower or unisexual plant. Okay, so let's take an example of a bisexual plant, hibiscus. Okay, here both the sexes are present in one flower only, so like male and female. In the same way mustard also, so they are having bisexual flowers. But if we are talking about you can say unisexual flowers or unisexual plants, so let's take an example of papaya and watermelon. So they have only, you can say, either male or female, so the plant is male or plant is female. So here the sexes are separate. Okay, so it may or might not be biparental. Now, but here also fusion of male and female gametes take place and results in formation of diploid zygote. Okay, they are, you can say, genetically different from both the parents, as their characters are transferred from both the parents. Half characters are from male and half characters are from female, so it creates variation. So variation हो जाता है, that leads to diversity of new characters, right? So variation also favors evolution and plays an important role in origin of new species. Okay, so first of all we are going to study here sexual reproduction in plants. So if we are talking about plants, so let's talk about flowering plants that are known as angiosperm. These are the most advanced plant. Okay, these are angiosperm flowering plant. So the flower is enclosed, you can say it encloses reproductive parts of a plant. Therefore flowers are the reproductive organ of plant, we can say, right? So it may contain, you can say, male or female reproductive part or both together. As I told you, in mustard it is bisexual, both male and female reproductive parts are in a same flower. But in, you can say, papaya, watermelon, dates, so it is, you can say, unisexual flower, only female part or only male part is present. So let's study the structure of a flower. Okay, now here you can see the structure of a flower, a typical flower. So here it has different parts you can see here. The flower is born at the tip of a stalk, okay, called pedicel. Pedicel expand into fleshy swollen upper portion that is called thalamus. This you can say swollen portion, this is thalamus. And all flower parts are attached to thalamus. Okay, so our typical flower basically consists of four main holes, that is calyx, also known as sepals, corolla, also known as petals, androecium, the male reproductive part, and gynoecium, the female reproductive part. Okay, what are calyxi? Calyxi, you can say these are outermost parts of the flower. These are green in colors. They are leaf-like structure, also known as sepals. Their function is to protect the flower in bud condition. When the flower is in bud condition, so it protects them. Next, you can see the colorful leaves like structure, that is corolla, also known as petals. Okay, they are found in various colors, and their bright color serves to attract insect for pollination. Okay, what is pollination we will study. Actually, it's transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. Okay, next you can see here comes androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive part of a flower. It is formed of stamens. They lies, you can say, just within the corolla, and they might be several stamens in a flower, and each stamen consists of actually two parts, that is a filamentous stalk and a swollen bilobed anther. The anther bears, you can say, pollen sacs in which many pollen grains are present. These are yellow powdery masses. Okay, so these are numerous in number, and they contain the male gamete. Okay, the male gamete which goes to, you can say, the ovary of the same bisexual flower or another female flower. Okay, now let's study about gynoecium, that is female reproductive part of the flower. Gynoecium is also known as pistil, and it is female reproductive part of a flower. It is formed of one or more carpels. These carpels lies in the center of a, you can say, flower as a flask shaped structure. It is made up of, you can say, three parts. One is stigma. It is the upper terminal of carpel that receives the pollen grain or male gamete. Next is style. It is the middle long part of carpel which connects stigma with ovary. And ovary here, it is the basal swollen part of carpel in ovary. Ovary bears several ovules. A female gamete called ovum or egg is produced in each ovule. The ovary may be unilocular when, you can say, there is only one chamber, or multilocular when there are many chambers. Okay, after this we are going to study about the process of pollination and fertilization, that we are going to study in the next class. That's all for today. Thank you.